So this is practicing compassion. We start just by bringing some focus to our breath. And we can do this even before we close our eyes or get ourselves comfortable, whether we were wanting to sit or lie down. We're just bringing some attention to this sense of being, the aliveness that is you. And we're just letting the breath move naturally its own way without trying to change it. And just aware of the movement. And as you're closing your eyes, you're just shuffling yourself around and getting yourself most comfortable. And softening the shoulders and the jaw, softening the eyes. And just allowing yourself to relax as we bring our attention into the body. And we're just watching the movement, watching that change. Now maybe you're bringing your attention to one particular area, like the movement in the belly, right on the tip of the nose or the upper lip. And maybe you're able to watch the whole breath as it flows into and out of the body. Now the idea here is not to follow, but to watch. Like as if you're down at your favourite beach, just watching the waves roll in on the shore. You're just watching this movement into and out of the body. Without any effort. And throughout this practice, we're just going to let all thoughts and judgments and distractions just pass by, like as if they're clouds passing by the sky of the mind. The sky doesn't get upset, it just watches as these clouds come and go. It doesn't matter how big and dark and grey they are. The sky is there and it knows it just eventually moves past. And we just let them pass without any judgment. There's no more important thought, less important thought. For this practice, they're just thoughts. And allow the breath just to connect us to our source. This breath is continually perpetuating movement of which we can just rest and watch. And the breath can just bring us close in, where we're just being, without the need for anything else. Just enjoying watching the movement. And remembering at any point where we feel distracted, just coming back to the breath again, over and over, as often as we can. No sense of failure. Doesn't matter how busy your mind is today. We just return without judgment or criticism. And we do that as often as we can. It's incredibly important to do that as many times as we can when we're noticing taken away and distraction. And if you just continue just to watch your breath as it moves and just listen a bit now to the guidance. Because as we begin to bring our attention to the people in our lives, we focus this practicing compassion on. It's not that others had the intention of benefiting us a lot of the time. Through this practice, we're just recognizing whether they did or they didn't realize what they did in their life was benefit to us. And it's important as we bring compassion in this way, the practice is to open our hearts towards them without any sort of overbearing feeling of lack because maybe you haven't helped them back, or any sort of obligation to now go out and help them, or any sort of sense of feeling of lack of self-worth. This practice is about receiving their kindness that others have extended to you in your life. For no other reason as you deserve to be happy as everyone else does. You deserve as much kindness as anyone else. And now what I'd ask you to do is just gently bring some attention to someone in your life that you know loves you unconditionally. Now, if there's more than one person here, that's fantastic, but in particular, just one. If you don't have a particular loved one right now, maybe you've had an animal or have an animal, or a tree or a car, that you know loves you unconditionally. And just bringing this person to mind. And remember, it doesn't need to be the perfect person, just importantly someone that loves you unconditionally, or something. And now becomes the contemplative part where we just begin to reflect on this wonderful person. So I'm going to ask you questions just for your own thoughts, like, why are these people so wonderful in your life? What kindness have you received from them? Why do they matter so much? Maybe they encouraged you when you were down or worried. Maybe they helped by making you aware of parts of you that you needed to reflect on. Maybe it's just the little things that they do to make you feel part of something. These people bring joy and love into our life. I want to see if you can open your heart and hold some of that kindness, some of that compassion that you receive from them, some of that love. And just holding some of that kindness in your heart. These people that love you unconditionally. Just bringing all this compassion, this kindness into your heart and let it shine. And let these loved ones open up your heart with compassion. Now you may feel something, maybe you don't feel anything. Maybe it's tough to think of someone or something, some actions, and that's okay. We just work with where we are right now. And if right now we're not feeling something, that's not failure, that's the information that you're needing. That maybe this is an area that you might need to bring some more attention to, in a hope that we can turn this bright light of compassion that's held in our heart towards those that love us. And now just letting go of these loved ones and just resting and watching the movement of our breath again. No need for control. So can we turn our attention to those people that we don't know or don't really know? And by that, I mean all those people that sort of are involved in our lives, but they're sort of like the unknown. They transport our food. They work through the night keeping our roads functional. People working in dangerous places like mines and front lines, keeping us safe and functioning. They work in petrol stations, the teachers, the doctors, the nurses, all these people that help us. All these people seek happiness and contentment in their life just like you. Our lives are so interdependent. Without them, we wouldn't survive. So just bringing some attention to all these people we may have never met or never really took the time to reflect on. They work in supermarkets and farms and fly our planes and build our homes. We've benefited so much from their lives, their effort, their time. And it doesn't matter if they had us in mind. The key point is that all their hard work has helped us to live and to thrive. Now remember, this practice is not about trying to get carried away or feel guilt or lack of worth. It's about recognizing how intricately interdependent on all of those in our life, whether loved, close, or completely unknown. We can open our heart with affection and compassion and recognize that these other beings, they just want happiness like you. And just because we don't know them, it doesn't mean they don't matter. So please feel their kindness. Just bringing your attention to all those that are unknown. And even when I do this practice, I just like to say thank you and wish them the best in my thoughts, my heart. I invite you to do something similar in your own way or the same. And now just bringing your attention to an object in your life that you care for. It's not a human or an animal, but an object. Maybe it's your laptop or your phone, a book that you love, or some fruit that you enjoy. Any object in particular, but just one. And I just want you to think about how many people were involved in bringing this joy to you. So, I'll give you an example, like using a laptop. All the people in different countries, from the mining of the materials, transportation, to the manufacturing, production, to the technical programming team and marketing, packaging, delivering, to the internet service that allows you to access it, and to the car that helped you to collect it, and all the people that have served you. So many people have been involved in bringing this joy into your life, and it's wonderful to be thankful for their time and their effort. Now just pausing a few moments and just taking a few conscious breaths. And by conscious breaths, you're just watching it flow into and out of the body without trying to control or change it. You're just letting go of any thoughts of anything and just bringing our attention onto the movement of our breath. So as we open our hearts and feel some of that love and affection in return to our loved ones who have helped us grow, who have been there for us, who love us unconditionally, and the friends in our lives that bring us joy, freedom, connection. Or the help in getting us to school and back, teaching us to speak and to communicate. All those sleepless nights when we were scared or sick, or the worries in keeping us safe in our home. Everything we've learned has come at the dedication of others. Nothing we know was because we made it up. It's often come at the expense of many people's time. And it's just wonderful to recognize this. And whilst there may have been many people that have brought difficulty and hurt, on the grand scale there have been hundreds of thousands of people that have helped you to develop into the incredible person that you are today. Whether you believe that or not. If we could bring some attention to those people in our lives that have tested us. Or harmed us in some way, and see if we can just gently guide some of this, some compassion towards them. Now maybe these people have made us feel insecure, have put us down, or maybe we felt jealous of them in some way. And our immediate response is to question how we could turn some of this kindness. Our immediate response is to question how we could turn this into compassion, how we could turn this into kindness. But when we look a little closer at ourselves, we can see that these people have made us stronger. They have challenged us to change and pushed us out of our comfort zone. Even if the process may have been in not such a positive way or seemed difficult at that time. We grew, learned and recognized that there are resources within us that we maybe weren't even aware of. Maybe it forced us to reach out into our community and had them teach us how we can overcome these difficulties, hurdles. Maybe even further, they helped push us into work that helps others or teaches others how to better manage themselves. And if you wanted to, we could take it just that little step further. If we could recognize that these people weren't born with the want to hurt. It's through their own suffering, their own ability to manage their suffering, that has been passed on to others. Now I appreciate this may be a few steps too far. And I wouldn't say working directly with the person that's harmed you the most, but we can start with just the trivial, the people during the day. People in your office, at home. Maybe they've just woken up tired, had some bad news. These people helped us to be patient, to be kind, to be diligent and strong. Often, sometimes, they've been role models as to how we just shouldn't treat people. That they've shown us this hurt to ensure that we end that suffering with them. It's often these people that help us to learn, often more than our loved ones can ever do. Some of these strengths that you now have come at their expense too. And so if we could just cultivate a little sense of compassion towards these people, they've taught us how to be more resourceful, more skillful and kind. And when I do this practice, sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. I just imagine, instead of holding anger in my heart towards them, I hold a little bit of compassion and just say, thank you. And it helps me in letting them go a little bit more. See if our hearts can hold a little bit of this compassion towards these people. And if it's a little difficult today, just watching the movement of your breath, watching it flow and change. And the last thing we do together is just see if we can rest in this compassion towards all people. Rest our attention into our heart as we feel this compassion for everyone. No boundaries, no limits. And see how long we can just rest into this feeling without distraction. And as we begin to open up our eyes, The reason why we practice compassion is not so we can be compassionate on the cushion, but to bring this practice to life. And just seeing if you can do that throughout your day, just bringing some of that attention into the heart and guiding that compassion towards these people in our lives. And have a compassionate rest of your day.